Hi guys, I'm Anita and I'm back with another video. Today it's time for my Monday reads, and Monday reads are where I talk about my readings over the past week, if I met my goals, and what I'm planning on reading the next week. The goals I set for myself last week was that I needed to read 1,420 pages with an average of 203 pages per day, and finishing up 6.5 books. What I ended up reading was 1,385 pages with an average of 198 pages per day, so it's not very much under my daily goal, and I ended up finishing 4 books and making progress in 4. So let's start out by talking about the things that I finished last week. The first thing that I finished last week was Wild Beauty by Anne-Marie McLemore. I read this because of Lala from Books and Lala's. It's one of her favorite books, and I am reading through her favorite books. I really ended up enjoying it. It's the first time I read from this author. It's difficult to explain exactly what this one is about, but it does follow two perspectives. One from a girl's perspective and one from a boy's perspective. The girl we are following is part of this family of women who has this sort of curse surrounding them, that seems like every time they fall in love with a boy, they seem to disappear. And then we follow the boy's perspective, who has sort of lost the memory of who he is, and he's trying to sort of find his way back into the world, and he meets this group of women, a family of women, and they sort of take him in a little bit reluctantly as they're afraid of what will happen, but they can't say no to him coming in because they feel like he's supposed to be there. And yeah, it's sort of whimsical and different, and I really enjoyed it, but there was something about the overall story that didn't connect completely with me, that there was something that I was missing or lacking. But overall I enjoyed it, so I gave it 4 out of 5 stars, and I'm definitely very intrigued to read on with this author, especially because I really enjoyed her writing style. So I'm definitely going to be reading more of her stuff in the future. The next thing that I finished last week was Alanna, The First Adventure by Tamora. This is one I'm reading for a read-along that I'm hosting. It's the first one in the Song of the Lioness quartet. It's part of the Total universe. I really enjoyed this book. It was fun trying. I've read it before back in 2016. I was reading it in a time when I was feeling really rushed, and I don't know, for some reason I didn't love it very much at the time. I didn't hate it at all. I gave it 3.5 stars, I think. So it's not a bad book. It was not a bad rating, but I really enjoyed it a lot more on this second time reading it. There's just something about the way that Tamora writes the characters, and especially our main character, that I really enjoyed. And I'm looking forward to talk a lot more about it when we come to the live show discussions. So yeah, but I did give this 4 stars this time around, so I definitely enjoyed it more. But I do think there's things that could become better as the book progresses. But I really enjoy Alanna's perspective. It follows Alanna. Alanna is a twin. She has always wanted to become a knight, but because of her being a woman, she's not allowed to become a knight. And her brother wants something else. He doesn't want to become a knight. He wants to be something else. Something happens, and somehow Alanna goes to training apprentice for the knight, becoming a knight, but she has to pretend that she's a boy. So she says that he's his twin brother, Alan, I think, and that sort of spins this whole tale. And so she's sort of pretending to be a boy and sort of trying to and loving being able to try and become this knight that she wanted to be. I enjoyed it a lot. Another book that I finished last week was Fullmetal Alchemist Volume 12 by Hiromu Arakawa. I really enjoyed this one. This is another great volume in this series, and a lot of new reveals happened in this one as well. Not as many as in the previous one, but still a lot of things keep happening in this one, and I'm excited to read on. 5 stars for this because I'm really enjoying this. The last and final thing that I finished last week was Ondskabens Engel, or The Angel of Evil by Kenneth Andersen. This is the 4th book in the Great Devil War series, a series that I can recommend that has actually been translated into English. This specific book has as well as the previous 3. This was a really good sequel or continuing of this series. This series follows Philip, who upon accident ends up in hell to become the devil's apprentice when he saves a boy who was supposed to die his life. But Philip is a good boy, so it takes a little time for him to try to learn these devilish acts. But right now there's a war brewing between the devil and another demon who wants to take over in the other world. And yeah, very much enjoying it. It was very fast paced, a lot of things happened. I'm so intrigued to see what's going to happen in the next books, and yeah, I really enjoy these books, so I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. So I've had a pretty decent reading week also in terms of my enjoyment of what I've been reading. Now let's get into the things that I was working on over last week and my plans for the coming week. The first thing I want to say is that I started in on 4 different books, or worked on 4 different books over last week. I have, the first thing I've been reading from is Vision in Silver by Anne Bishop. I finally picked it up again, and I'm actually pretty close to finishing it. I have about 120 pages left, so I hope to finish it tonight maybe. Otherwise, I'll definitely try and finish it tomorrow. I have been enjoying it, but it's taken a while to get here. I think this one, the plot has not been as exciting as it has been before, but right now it's a lot of things are coming together because we're closing in on the end. And so last night when I was reading, it ended up with quite a place where I really want to pick it up again. So I hope that I'll pick it up tonight and finish it. Also because I only have 120 pages left, and I don't have to think too much about it anymore. Then I've also started back on Christine by Stephen King. I already started that last week, but right now, this morning before I went into work, I had about 147 pages left, and I'm not sure exactly how many hours that was, but right now I've listened to another hour at least today, so we'll see if I don't finish it tomorrow. I have also been making very little progress in Barnaby Grimes by Paul Stewart and Chris Riddell. I have read up to page 37, so I've read another 10 pages, so really not a lot, but I'm going to try and attempt to get through this one over this next week maybe, but it's not like a high priority book. And the last thing that I started in on last week was Trumps of Doom by Roger Zelazny, the 6th book in the Amber Chronicles, and I made it to chapter... I'm in the middle of chapter 4. So far it's definitely interesting, it's different, and we're following a new character, so... But I'm interested in reading on, and I hope to finish this over the next week. Let's see if I can. I did read something this past week, so... Other than the ones I've already mentioned that I want to try and finish over the next week, I also would like to, this time, get through about half of this, so about 150 pages into it, and see if I can't finish the remainder the beginning of next week, because I didn't touch this one at all last week and I really would like to get to it. This is not as big as a priority to get through than some of my other books, because even though it's part of my stack in the series, I could postpone it a little bit, but I don't want to postpone Trumps of Doom too much, so I have 3 books in that series to read in November. That will be annoying. So I feel like that one is a little more higher priority than the other one. I have 2 more books on my list to read, so yeah, I'm really going out of my way this week, but I have another audio for my work because I don't feel like I will finish Christine tomorrow. If not tomorrow, then I'll definitely finish Wednesday. So I want to get started on Eliza and Her Monsters by Francesca Sapia. This one is 385 pages, but it's not a super long audio, so I feel like I will be able to finish it. And yeah, that's the last audio on my TBR for September, and the remaining thing that I read of audios is just added stuff that I feel like, and so because of that I also do want to have a book going when I'm at home, and that book for this week is going to be the next Joseph Delaney books, which is called, I've wrote down it called The Curse of the Bane by Joseph Delaney. The Danish title is Witch Hunter's Curse. Yeah, but I'm really looking forward to moving on with this one and seeing how this one goes. And this one is also 344 pages long, so yeah. So a couple of library books, a couple of stacking the series, and actually if I have any time at all over the next week to look into it, I'm going to try and see if I can get to this one. I haven't been feeling like picking it up, but maybe I should try out the first couple of chapters and see if it's something for me, and if it is, I'll keep reading it. If it's not, then I'll get rid of it, because I have to make a decision about this book by the end of September. But all in all, that means I need to read 1,592 pages with an average of 227 pages per day, so it's extremely ambitious, and usually you'd say this is not something I can achieve, but I'm going to give it my best shot, because I do really want to finish all these things. And maybe this is a good week. I mean, last week I listened to quite a lot of audio, but yeah, who knows what's gonna happen. It's the end of the month, it's closing in on the end of the month, and I would like to get some progress done. So yeah, I'm excited. Let me know in the comments down below if you've read anything exciting over the past week, anything you really enjoyed that you'd like to recommend to me. Also let me know if you've read any of the books that I've been talking about today. Have you been reading the Alanna books? Also let me know about that if you have, and what you do think of them. And yeah, this is all I had for you today. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next video very soon. Goodbye!